Good morning, everyone. So I'm Vinoth here. So welcoming you all for the design thinking session, right? So basically, that's whatever I learned through the courses and the videos. So I'm just going to share with you guys how the design thinking works in digital product designing, right? Okay, so today we are going to look at three segments, right? So what first is going to be the what design thinking is, and the second one is what is design depth, and we'll winding up with a question and answer. So the terminologies I'm going to use: human-centric or people-centric design, user journey, empathy, and experience design. So we all like stories, right? So I'm going to start with a small story. Long time ago, if we want to move something, we would have to carry by ourselves, right? So now we were able to solve the problem with the innovation. So the design has the power to make our everyday experience better. When you want to find a solution for a problem, you want to start from a point. So that's where the design thinking process comes in. So it helps to turn your idea into real and tangible, testable product as quick as possible. So that's you can save money and time. That's the main idea. Okay, all right. So we'll jump into our content. So what is design thinking? Interaction Design Foundation says it's an iterative process that teams use to understand users, challenge assumption, redefine problems, and create innovative solution to prototype and test. So in simple words, design thinking is a mindset that helps you to solve problems creatively with always keeping the user in center. So that is user-centric approach. Always keep because we are designing something to the human, right? So, okay, so almost every innovation company in the world uses the some sort of design thinking process. So it's being 20 years now, and it's super important to understand whether you can be a designer, a product manager, a marketing manager, architect, a CEO, whoever the interested in the topic. So because we can apply this in any innovative product. Let's get into our real content. So before going to look at the steps, we need to remember this. This is actually a philosophy, so it can be flexible according to our product. Okay, so step number 1, empathize. Step number 2, define. I will explain in next slides what is in detail. The third is ideate. Fourth, prototype. Fifth is test. Okay, let's see what is empathize means. So this is basically understand the user very well. Like we need to understand who is your user is, right? So to get the clear picture of who is your target audience, maybe if you take million spaces, the target audience are going to be Singapore and Sri Lankan users. So the ethnicity and their religion, everything matter, because we can decide something by gathering the detail. So basically, we empathize means we need to understand the user. So we can ask what is the challenge they face. Okay, for example, the boardroom is always occupied, unable to utilize in timely manner. So the need. What are the need? Need an instant booking platform where user can reserve. So they can. So that is the pain point. So we'll discuss that in coming slides. Okay, so how we can achieve this? So by interview, user testing, survey, and basically speaking to people. Okay, step 2. So we need to make this problem statement here. So based on what we gathered in earlier stage, we need to we need to give the definition to basically we need to organize the problems that we discussed in previous steps. It can be through empathy diagram, a persona, whiteboard. So I will explain in next screen. So this is basically the empathy diagram. So we ask set of questions, how they feel, how they react, what's the pain point, and what is the gain point. So after gathering all this information, we put in middle, we put everything. So basically, what is the pain and gains they feel? For example, it can be what are the fears frustration and anxieties they will face in a platform. Maybe if you take the previous example, that million spaces, you can't book the boardroom in a timely manner. So the gains are like what they wish for. I want to reserve. I want an easy platform that I can reserve the boardroom. So that is basically empathy diagram. And the second one is persona. So basically you can do empathy diagram or persona. It's depending on the product we are working on. So here we can collect all the user data, right? For example, the age, what they do, the age limit, so if we take age, we can, when we develop something, we need to make sure that is, that can be, so if it is, if the target audience is more than 45 years old, we need to consider about the font and the colors that we're going to use. It should be monotonous color, and it should be pleasing to them. And so there are a lot of things involved. So it's very important to understand the persona that we going to, the user, basically. So this can be work in 3 steps, 3 ways, right? So empathy diagram, persona, and what really works for us was a whiteboard session. So this is basically, we did 4 million spaces. Basically, this is done by Burhan. So we put everything in the board and to brainstorm, and the persona, everything's includes here. So the same thing we did for the Mycora Life, and yeah, so that's the basic idea of defining the design thinking. The step number 2. So the step number 3. Basically, this motto of this step is quantity over quality. So basically, everyone member of any stakeholders who are a member of the product, they can involve and give the idea. Depending on the previous steps, this person age is 25, so we need to make some maybe in the system, maybe a gamification that entice him, maybe something, things like that. So like I said, get all the possible stakeholders to brainstorm ideas. It can be anyone in the product. So we can ask how might we questions. So how might we, for example, we can ask the question, how to make the booking process seamless to the user. So that can be, basically this is how it's going to be in real. All the tech giants are doing like this. So they put all the ideas in a sticky note. So it can be, the orange can be maybe a booking process. So all the people who are involved in this session, they will write what is the seamless booking, the possible way, right? So out of that, in next screen, so after this, after we all decide, and all the decision makers in the room will make the decision, okay, this is the best possible way, that consider the marketing and the product and everything. So this is the feasible way, including the developers. It should be feasible to the developers as well, right? So everything includes there. Okay, so there's an application called Miro, right? So we can do the same affinity diagram in the Miro itself. So you can collaborate and do the same stuff virtually. So let's go to our step 4. This is after we collecting all the information in previous step, we put everything, we pick the best possible the flows, and get we are ready to prototype it. So come in all the previous details, make feasible, disable, and viable prototype. It's everyone's includes here, marketing, the developers, and the design, everyone's, right? So creating basically this in this step, creating a tangible test product can be a paper model, sketch, or wireframe that can be tested on real people, right? So this is one of the way to do it. It can be a low fidelity design, and it can be high fidelity design. So this how can we do this? So we can do it in some of the applications like Adobe XD, Figma, Sketch, and InVision. So there are a lot of other applications as well, right? So here, this is the main part actually. So we need to give the product to the user basically and get their feelings, so how they react to the how they use the application, and sometimes it can be they like very much, and sometimes it's not intuitive to them. So based on that, we can change the design, right? So this is actually, like I said, it's iterative process. It's not linear. So based on the feedback, we can make the changes and improvement. Okay, so this is the full steps, right, for the design thinking. So although these steps appear to be sequential, it's not. It is less linear and more iterative. And each steps you are most likely to discover new things. You may require to go back and repeat the previous step. If you come in the ideate step, if you find out something, you can always go back and redefine and come back. Okay, that's all in design thinking. So we'll move to the next screen, that is design depth, right? So it's a mistake here, it should be depth, right? So okay, so design depth is basically cost of all design depth, basically the cost of all good concept solution you skip during the design process in order to reach our short-term goal. So it always happens, right? So sometimes we need to sometimes sacrifice something to do to reach the goal. So it's all about the time, right? So the design will fail in that design depth if you're ignoring the fact actually. So it should be, the design should be scalable, and it should be we need to always keep in that mind that we shouldn't skip some of the important steps. So how to avoid this design depth? So we need to do a proper market research before we do something, because if you try to plug in after we develop something, it will be buggy, or it will be not suit in the design. Okay, and the usability research and testing, and of course there are, I think, the heat map, this testing that we can do, and in the sense we need to collect the details from some third party. That's what most of the giant tech companies are doing. And the design should be scalable. So if you want to add something in a new feature to the platform, it should be scalable, that it shouldn't break the design, and so that is the scalable design. So and the reusable design component, that we can move the move the component, that not breaking the design basically again. That's all from me today for the design thinking. Any question that I can answer, is possible answer I can.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Do you use any tools related to this, or just all manual?
So for example, for prototyping, I'm using Adobe XD, Krishanta, and for the user testing, I think I don't have any proper, like, there's no proper tools for that, but it can be just a note that you collect the details, and maybe you can put it into the Confluence, the application. You can put all the basically the user diagram.
All right. Do you think the Adobe is the best tool available at the moment, or are there any other tools?
Right at the moment, Krishanta, so there are main two competitors, that Adobe XD and Figma. So the other, I think, now the Sketch is it's getting like out of the picture now, but Adobe XD and Figma is fighting for the moment.
Okay. All paid systems, I suppose.
So Adobe XD, and you can export the project. I think only two, maximum 2 times. So after that, it should be pay for that. So I think Figma also same. So it's $9 per month for the XD for a month for the unlimited use.
So, what are the key challenges that you find when it comes to designing? I mean, other than the client, the technical, are there any technical issues or anything like that?
Basically, so in this process, I think the Median Space and Cora Life, since we did the proper the mapping, so it helps to design and get the overall high level idea of what is the product is. So that helps us a lot of things. So this is one of the important part that it was challenging to get everyone and brainstorm the session. That is only a challenging part, I would say.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the presentation.
Thanks, Shanta. Thank you, Shanta. Okay, any other question I can possibly answer? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, to join this design thinking. I think you must have get some idea about what the innovative companies are doing in the designing. Thank you, everyone.